Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Esthetician Edit. Today is our second podcast with Ashlyn Freitas, and we're going to talk about her second location that she's in the process of opening, Tiev Med Spa. So we're super excited to get into that. But first of all, since we last spoke, you had a baby.
Yes.
You said you had a baby 5 days after our podcast.
Yeah, I literally went into labor 5 days after our podcast. I was huffing and puffing on that thing.
How are you doing? How's everything been since we last spoke?
Amazing. So second time around is just so much easier than your first baby. This is my second. So first was a lot more jarring. Second, I'm like, I've got this.
And how is it having a business? And then also, because I always wonder that I want to be a mom one day, and I'm like, how on earth am I going to do it? But then seeing you open 2 locations to me is one is a big deal. 2 is a lot.
Yeah.
So how do you balance everything?
Well, the joke that I have is for every baby I have to open up a new location because that just makes the most sense, obviously. But on a more real note, I think that balance is bullshit. Balance doesn't happen. It's your life is just a series of, I forget who said this, but your life is a series of trade-offs. And I remember hearing that and being like, that is so true. My entire life is just an integration. It's just a part of my life. I don't have this from 9 to 5, I do this. And from 5 to this, I do this. If I need to take a call at, 7 a.m. while I'm feeding my daughter, sometimes that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Right. Or if I need to take a late night meeting and sometimes I'm on a call while I'm doing bath time, right? So my life is just about a series of integration. It's a series of trade-offs. And, I work on Sundays, but I might not be in office, but I might be getting some back-end things done. But I never miss a doctor's appointment. I never miss bedtime. There's certain things that are non-negotiables for me. And so that's just, I think if you're planning on being a working parent, you just have to be very comfortable with that trade-off. And what does that integration kind of look like for you?
Yeah, I think you're passionate about this. You want to be a business owner. This is something that you choose to do. It's very different sometimes when you work a 9 to 5 or you're working under someone. Sometimes it depends on your personality. Sometimes you crave just clocking out and not having to think about work at all. And there's jobs for those type of people. And then there's people that live, breathe, eat, sleep their business, and it is like a baby.
Yeah.
So your second baby on the way.
Yes.
How has that process been? Where are you right now with Tiev Med Spa?
Yeah. So we're in the process of opening up our second location. It's been a long time coming. Anybody that's opened a more storefront understands that it's a long time before you even get the keys. And then there's contract negotiations and the architect, and there's all of these things. So we're hoping that if all goes to plan, we're looking about a 7 to 10 month time frame, preferably sooner. But yeah, it's going really great. We're right now in contract negotiations. We're working really diligently with our broker. And like I said, if all goes to plan, we're looking in about 6 to 7 months as I'm going to manifest that out there.
Yeah. You heard it here first.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with the first, because you obviously already opened 1 location, is it easier the second time around? You kind of just know what to do? Or are there different challenges that have come up?
Yes to both. So it's easier because you have a lot more confidence and swagger as to what works and what doesn't work for you and your business. We've spent the last 2 years really fine-tuning our internal practices, our operations, what makes Tiev, really gathering a strong leadership team and department heads. And so going into second location, it's going to be a lot faster, a lot sexier, a lot less hiccups. But with any location opening, and especially because we're going into a new market, of course, there's a lot. Even when we're just talking about permits and codes, LA is so different than Orange County, right? It's a lot more of an expensive build by far, and it's a lot larger of a location. So it's having its own set of challenges, but that's why we hire people around us to really make sure that we're doing things right, up to code, up to standards, and really up to Tiev standards as well.
And is the second location going to be different from the first location in any way, or the same?
It's going to be a little different.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's going to be always Tiev touch points is what we like to call them. Mm-hmm. So regardless of what location that you go to, you're going to have the same experience. And I know we've talked about like, how do we make things consistent despite locations and providers and things like that. So the Tiev touch points will be there, but we're really embodying the kind of the LA flavor and vibe. And we really want to embody the communities that we're going into because Tiev is so integrated into its communities. Mm-hmm. If you're in the Southern California area, we are very heavy with eventing, working with business to business, working with like-minded individuals, other founders and things along those lines. And so, we're really excited about being more integrated into the LA market and how that kind of transpires the brand and evolves the brand.
I love that.
Yeah.
I know that like it's still in the oven.
Yeah.
Yes. I love this analogy now.
Yeah.
And like obviously it's not hasn't fully been born yet.
Yeah.
I guess your first location, if you had to describe your first location as a person, or just Tiev Med Spa, we don't even have to separate it by locations. If you had to describe Tiev Med Spa as a person, like what would they be like?
Ooh. I would say Tiev is all about like quiet luxury, right? Uh-huh. She's a sophisticated girl. She knows what she's want, tried and true staples. Mm-hmm. She's very sure of herself, unapologetic, but incredibly warm and inviting and just really welcoming to all, but is very strong in who she is and the style that she is attracted to.
I love it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's like embodiment of you or like who you aspire to be?
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I was thinking about this on my way in, and I think one of the compliments that I've really enjoyed that people who've known me for a really long time, they're like, Tiev just feels like yours. Like it just feels like you. And my business partner is fabulous. And we have a lot of like these similarities when it comes to just style and experience and what we want things to feel and look like. And so I would say the essence is very us. Uh-huh. You know, it's very who we are and what we embody and really how we want the brand to be experienced. If I always think about it this way, if I was, walking into those doors and if I was sitting in those treatment rooms, how would I want to feel?
Yeah.
What would I want that experience to look like? We've really nailed that on the head. So it's very us. Tiev is very Tiev. Mm-hmm. It might not be for everyone, but it's funny when we do a pop-up somewhere else, or we're doing a B2B or a co-branded collaboration, people are like, of course, this just screams Tiev. And because our brand values and essence is just, we are who we are.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's kind of like what drives you. And like, we always need like passion to fuel us forward. And if we don't have that, and if it's not an expression of ourselves, then it's kind of like, there's an identity crisis there happening. Yeah. And then I don't feel like it's like a flop.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
Well, yeah, you can't be the jack of all trade. You can't embody another brand or another person's essence and try to bring that into your brand if it's not true to who you are. And I know when we talked last time, I mean, I say this time and time again, but your brand identity has to be the fundamental heartbeat of everything you do. We say no to a lot because it just doesn't align with the brand. It would feel very off-putting. Yeah. It might be a great thing. It might be a great partnership on paper, but when we look at from the execution process or how the consumer is experiencing us, it's not going to be feasible. It's just going to feel off. Yeah.
So I want to get into like a little bit of like CEO mindset tips.
Let's do it.
For someone who maybe has one location already and they want to expand and they have like this dream that you have, what would you say to them if they feel like a little bit fearful to have that expansion?
There's a difference between, I think, mindset and decision.
Okay.
Everything that you do, especially if you own a business, it's scary. It's very different than being their employee to entrepreneur is a very different ballgame. The level of responsibility is very different, especially when you've got a lot of payroll and inventory and you've got a lot of people that you need to take care of. It's not just you, right? And so the fear behind, I think, that mindset is, if you're waiting for the right time, it's not going to happen. It will never happen. You just have to have the mindset of, I'm going to make this decision and I'm going to make it happen. And we can talk about all the ways on whether your business is ready or not. That's a different conversation, but you're never going to feel ready. You just have to make the decision to make it happen and to be ready.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Sometimes I forget. My boyfriend's also like an entrepreneur, and I'll be like, you're working too much. And he's like, I have so many people that rely on me.
Yeah.
And then I remember that and I'm like, oh yeah, he has a whole team. And so what's that like? Like, how do you kind of not let it burden yourself, you know? Because I'm the type of person that like, I will physically feel it in my body, like my shoulders and stuff. If I just feel burdensome sometimes by like, I want to please everyone. So how do you balance that? I know you said balance is bullshit.
Balance is bullshit, yes.
But like, how do you deep within, like just balance that within yourself?
Yeah, I think having your own expectations and also you've got to get real gritty and thick skin. I mean, I was a COO before Tiev, and I thought I had super thick skin, and I did.
Yeah.
But being an entrepreneur is entirely different ballgame. It's scary as hell. And you have to do things despite of fear, right? We hear that statement all the time. But managing my team's expectations of me and managing the expectations of other people, I'm very honest about what I can do and what I can't do. And so I think there's a clarity of expectations to those around me. You know, in the first part of my business, I was, you know, there was a sense of people pleasing because you want to retain your team and you want to retain the patient. You want to do all of these things. But there's something about a authenticity and creating expectations around that. And so what does that mean, right? When it comes to my team and they're like, I want X, Y, and Z, I'm very honest of, well, this is what I can do. This is what I can't do, but this is what I can do in the future. Does that work for you or does it not? This is what works for me. How can we find a way to coexist together where it aligns both of our goals? If I'm doing a contract negotiation with a vendor, I'm very honest of where we're at, where we anticipate to go. Are you going to be a vendor that's willing to grow with me or not? Yeah. You know? And if it comes down to my family, I'm so grateful to have such a supportive husband and family. I could not do this without my support system. And so like even creating expectations, like he's home with the babies, so I can do things like podcasting and I can go to conferences and I can go travel to LA and meet with architects and do whatever it is that I need to do. And then also too, for yourself is giving yourself some serious grace and being able to almost compartmentalize it. Is this a feeling that's triggering something in me personally, or is this a visceral reaction that I'm having to something going on in the business? And so you gotta, I'm like the queen of compartmentalization when it comes to business, because the business, I need to make decisions for that. That's going to be the betterment of everybody, whether they like it or not. And I might not be the favorite person in the room, but it's always what's best for the business that's going to create growth opportunity for every single person, like opening up a second location and being able to provide raises and all of that jazz. So there's that portion, but then there's the me portion, Ashlyn, who gets scared, right? And gets overwhelmed and can feel, is this the right call? And so I just have to take the information at hand and make the best decisions, not just for now, but in the future. And also working through those feelings that I might have and not projecting that onto anyone else.
Yeah, I think having conversations sometimes can be difficult. Yeah. I think that's where I'm a little bit like nervous about. Like I just hired 2 people and I get
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. I get nervous sometimes because I'm like such a kind person and sometimes I can get taken advantage of, but not within my team, but just like in general. So I get a little nervous, like if there ever is a point where I need to have a conversation and stuff, like being clear and not avoiding the conversation. Because I think the longer you avoid something, that's where like assumptions start to be made on both sides. And I've experienced that also working for someone else.
Absolutely.
And it's horrible for months.
Yeah. Well, and so it goes down to like all I'm hearing is a set of expectations. How do I set the expectation early on as to what this relationship is going to look like? What is your role? What is my role? And how could that potentially evolve in the future? And I'm a huge fan, if something isn't going right or something's even a slightly funky, we're addressing it ASAP.
Yeah.
We're not waiting days. We're not waiting a week. I mean, if I can address it same day, it's being addressed same day. So when you become responsible for a team, you have to be confrontational. But you don't have to lose your kindness and your warmth and all of those things. My team knows. I mean, I'm a ride or die for my team. I've got those girls' backs. I mean, we literally are shutting down the location on Wednesday, and I'm taking all my girls out to a day resort for the spa.
That's so cute.
Yeah, and so I take care of them. We do fun things together and all of that jazz. But they're very clear as to what their role is, what their expectation, and what the Tiev standard is. And I think how we work around that is it's not just about them as an individual. It's about what we do, how does that relate to the overall goal and the vision that we are trying to execute as a brand.
Yeah. Right?
And so it's not you versus me versus her. It really is Tiev. She's the priority. Her ability to thrive and succeed is the most important thing in the room. And with that is the patient, right? And so that patient is experience and goals and all of that jazz. And so when we then have our individual respective roles, we know that everything that we do contributes to that synergy of working all together. And so I think that's really important. It's kind of like that relationship tactic, right? It's not you versus me. It's like us versus a problem. But you even do that from a winning perspective, right? Is how do what we do collectively
help the business. I love that we kind of established the business as a person, because you were just like, oh, how is this going to help her?
Yeah.
And she has her own identity, and there's so much that goes in. You are creating, it's a manifestation. Yeah. Right? Just created out of an idea, but it's physical form now.
Absolutely. Well, entrepreneurship is delulu, right? You have to be delusional that this thing, her, he, whatever you want to call it, is going to work and is going to manifest itself into something big, right? And being able to get everybody on board with that, and how does my role impact that, and why is that important to me?
And how do you build on your mindset? Are there any specific books or courses that you've taken? I know you mentioned in the last podcast you've had mentors. But is there anything that you what are you doing now?
I personally hate reading. I
don't like reading either. And I'm a writer. It's so weird.
It's so bad. I don't have the time to read. Well, I guess I don't make the time to read. Okay. So I habit stack via podcasts or audibles, right? So I drive a lot. So when I'm driving in the car is my time, or when I'm getting ready in the morning, or if I'm taking a shower, I will piecemeal a podcast or an audible. So I really love right now, her name's Emma Grade. She's the CEO and one of the founders of Skims and a few other brands. And she's fantastic. She's got a really just incredible history of things that she's doing, and a lot of it has been really relevant to what we're doing, at least in my life and with Tiev. So that's what I'm currently doing. And I do have a mentor. We meet once a week.
Okay. Do you feel as you kind of grow and expand and reach the next level, the level of people that you are around and the mentors that you get are also too, they are at a higher level?
Absolutely. I don't want to learn for people who are doing what I'm doing. Yeah. I want to learn from people who are light years ahead of me or more experienced in something, whether that's branding, whether that's financials, whether that's an expansion, team development. I mean, because you know what you know. Yeah. And you can get really stagnant in that. And so it's really finding people that are better at you exceptionally in some other areas that can really pull you up. And being really honest and having people look at you of this is what you don't know, and this is where you aren't winning. Yeah. Ashlyn. Yeah. Right? And so I need people like that around me that are going to be brutally honest, because the people that sometimes are around you might not be the most honest. Because they're trying to please either a role or the brand vision and things like that. And so having people that's best interest is in me seeing things clearly and making sure that I'm the best founder and resource and leader to do this is really important, right? It's important to me and it's important to them, because that's their focus is how is this going to make you better? Yeah. And so they're going to be really honest.
It's also just like a fresh set of eyes. Like sometimes even like as an editor, I like look at something you look at it over and over and over again. Oh my gosh. You do need like a second edit. Sometimes I don't have that, but like I used to work in a position where we had multiple editors.
Yeah.
Taking a look at just one document to see what's missing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, we even have that within Tiev. We have so many what we call checks and balances. There's always multiple eyes on things because, with Tiev, when we introduce something to the consumer or, for the patient journey and experience, the biggest thing is we always say we strike once.
Yeah.
I don't want to redact things if ever, and so we're really thoughtful and really curated in how we do that. And so, but in order for me to be able to do that, I need somebody that's looking out for me being the best that I can.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They always say you shouldn't be the smartest person in the room, at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You need somebody that's going to help you level up in some capacity. Right.
I want to talk about like what you feel makes a place luxurious and kind of like the pricing is like justified by what you are offering.
Well, pricing means shit if you don't have anything to back it up, right? If I'm just charging an exuberant amount and it's the same Joe Schmo services down the street, get serious. Get serious and get fucked, right? So okay, for me, this is kind of a three-parter. One, how am I relevant to kind of how am I demographically connected to pricing in my area? So is it way too exuberant? Is it not enough? So you got to get really clear as to what luxury pricing looks like within your area, right? Second is, what is the experience to back it up? Right. At the end of the day, something that my branding director, she shared with me the other day was that there's just as many med spas as there are McDonald's in California.
Oh my goodness.
Super saturated. And when you think about day spas and solo estheticians and all of that jazz, then now you're tripling that. Yeah. Right. So it's a really competitive market. So what's going to set you apart to match that luxury service, and it's going to be the experience. And so third is, what is that essence of what makes you different to back that up? What makes the Ritz the Ritz? They make you the most important person in the room. Even though there's thousands of people that are walking through those doors, there's something about you specifically where you just kind of you're getting wined and dined, right? Or no, but I mean, you think about your most luxurious experience. And so when you're thinking about your business, what does that luxury experience look like for you? And it has to really embody you and who you are and what you want your brand to stand for. So when they come into Tiev, they are they whether you've been with us for one time or 100 times, the experience is the same and consistent no matter what.
Yeah.
Our pricing is very transparent. You come to us because there's an experience associated to it, and there's a feeling that is being catapulted, because at the end of the day, it's essentially the same services that you can get anywhere else.
Yeah.
Botox is Botox. A facial is a facial, right? If you look at it on paper. But what is going to set Tiev apart from the thousands literally of other med spas in our area, right? And getting really serious as to what that looks like.
I love that you said that, like the Ritz is the Ritz, because I didn't think of it like that. And like recently I love getting facials and trying out new things. I got like a $400 facial, which is fine, but I felt like it was in a house. She's really talented, but I didn't feel like it was a luxurious service. Like I didn't feel like it matched the price point. And it was because of the way that I felt. I didn't feel luxurious. And I love that you pointed out, because it's not even so much about, I was thinking about like, how do I make my business more luxurious? How do I make my business? But it's more about how you're making them feel. Are you making them feel luxurious? Because like if I go to the Biltmore in Miami and I'm spending the day there, I'm like, ooh, I feel fancy.
Absolutely.
If my boyfriend takes me out to a nice restaurant, I feel luxurious.
Yeah.
And there's so many different aspects that go into play. Like the atmosphere, how they speak to you, how they greet you, like, you know?
And guess what? All of those things guaranteed are trainable. And the reason why it's so consistent is because there's somebody with some sort of a business acumen that's making sure that those things happen. It's not just by chance. And I think where a lot of people get it wrong is that you just expect, I'm going to hire somebody really talented and it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Sorry, sister, it's not how it works, right? You have to get really serious as to what are those touch points. So at Tiev, I mean, we process, drive everything, literally everything. I mean, down to the words that we use, the body language of how we're greeting somebody, to how we're open gesturing somebody to walk back into their room. I mean, to the words that we use and the words that we don't use. And I love to tell this story because this just happened. I was telling my business partner, we were cracking up. So we have 2 department heads. I'm going to shout out Courtney and Sue. They're absolutely fantastic. They crack me up because like if something just a hair goes off as to like the experience, they're like, this is just not the Tiev way. This is unacceptable. And it's so funny. And I'm like, yeah, girl, you are totally right. It is unacceptable. I, as the founder and as the owner, like didn't even need to do anything. They already handled it. Because it's so a part of the essence and who we are and how we train and how we process drive that. Yeah.
Yeah, you actually inspired me. Like when I brought on my team, I started having meetings with them like every week. And I wrote down like, okay, the first client experience, what is that like? And I started to think about it. And I came up with the cute idea of like when you are signing up with us, it's a journey, but it's also like you're learning how to create a ritual out of like your self-care. Everything's a ritual and everything is to relax your nervous system. That's like my message.
I love
like
that.
My mission is nervous system regulation.
And you're making people feel great during that process. They're going to remember that.
Yeah. And then I came up with the idea of having these little ritual cards at the end we give to them. And it has like, what's your morning ritual, your evening ritual, but it's all skincare. And then it's like internal things you should be doing too. So
oh my gosh.
It started making my brain.
You know what
like,
you just did too is you just branded yourself, your business, right? Your ritual, that's you. No one else is saying that. That's something that's you because you're saying this is a ritual to make you feel better.
Yeah.
Right? And you just branded that. And you like, I don't know if you realize that you did that, but
no.
that is, yeah, that's amazing. That is a branded moment is what we'd consider that.
But I did think like, okay, what is my mission? Like, what do I want people to feel? And then what ideas that's when the ideas started to come in.
Oh my God.
So,
I'm loving this.
I'm
this
just
is great.
at the beginning.
I got chills.
Yeah.
That's so good.
No, but literally because it all happened so fast too, because since I have both businesses, like I have this job and then also at my suite, I'm not really there that often. And so I'm like, I need to bring people in, you know, I have the overhead that it's going to help me.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And I feel like I was more confident after talking to you.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, good. Well, I'm glad I helped somebody.
Yeah. So it's just about, I guess, applying like what you spoke about today and just continuing to build on it and to like solidify things. Do you guys like role play when you, okay.
Oh yeah. My team, if they're watching this, are probably laughing and rolling their eyes because so during our monthly team meetings, I'll do like surprise role plays and we'll role play experience. And I'll even sometimes make it really funny where I'm like, I want you to pick apart everything I did really well, everything I didn't. And they love that. They love to pick me apart, right? Because I'm making it relatable. I'm showing them how I want it. And also I'm making me as a founder not fully untouchable, right? It's making the process a little bit more relatable. But role play, if you're not currently doing it in your business, get serious and do it. Because it is what gives us the tools and the skill sets that when we get into a live situation, we're going to have a lot more of a smoother process because you can whip out different scenarios and tools from your tool belt to help that make that a winning moment. So for example, we'll role play maybe a disgruntled client, maybe role play the experience, maybe role play of handing off to another provider. You know, our business is unique that we have both, you know, the facial side of the business, we have the medical side of the business. And so how does that interdepartmental transfer look like? What does the follow-up process look like with that patient? How are we hand holding them? And so my girls are really sharp. They're really, really sharp. Our business is sharp. Our team is sharp. And our patients know it. And so it's funny because we've had patients now for a couple of years. And, you know, they all know me at this point. But they'll be like, Ashlyn, she said cold and not chilled water. And I was like, oh no. You know, and it's so funny. But and they're joking. But also, too, I'm like, hey, note taken. Somebody got lazy with their terminology. I mean, that is how finite in particular we make the process.
No, I where did I go the other day that they kept saying guest, and I was like, everyone says guest here, like it's such a thing. Yeah,
absolutely. They again, branded moment. That's something that's probably an internal process. It's like Chick-fil-A. What do they say? My pleasure.
Yeah,
of course, my pleasure. Yeah, they don't say you're welcome. It's my pleasure.
They're known for that. Okay. So do you have any tips for the actual consultation? Like so when I created the consultation for my girls, I was like, I learned this in the past because I used to do hypnosis on people.
Oh, whoa.
And I had like a coach that taught me how to do this. And she like said the first consultation, always end the consultation. Like don't end it until you have 3 emotional pain points. And that is like what gets them to basically sign up with you. So and that I taught my girls, but is there anything else that you feel like from the first consultation, like some tips you can give us?
It's very similar. The first thing I'm going to say is shut up. Don't talk too much. Okay. I think a lot of times we overpower and nervously or whatever that is overtake the conversation and the consult or the facial because you're just wanting to give them all this information, right? The first rule is shut up, ask an open-ended question, and let them talk. Let them talk. They'll tell you what they're there for. People wouldn't book a consultation if they weren't seriously looking for something. They're looking for some sort of a solution. And so really being identify what you can consider like a needs assessment, a why, you know, there's different variations of it. But why are they there and how are you providing a solution to their problem, right? Are they getting married? Are they a postpartum mom? Are they going through a rough divorce? Are they perimenopausal? Are they are they menopausal? Are they a new dad? Or whatever it is that storyline might be, or they're just a hardworking attorney and they're exhausted. I mean, I had an attorney one time come into our practice and was like, I need to look good while I'm depositioning people and while I'm in front of a juror. And I was like, okay, fantastic, right? And that was his most important thing, right? And so shut up, stop talking, listen, ask the question, and really listen to understand and pull some of those things that they're sharing with you, and then provide a navigation system as to how we're going to execute that together, right? And so they're coming to you with a problem, I'm providing you a solution, and let me show you the journey of what that's going to look like. And not just today, but in the future as well. And in that consultation, you should always be thinking about the retention. How am I not just getting you today? How am I getting you for the long term?
So do you decide in that moment, okay, I'm going to need to see you for X amount of time? Because I put that in the ritual cards. Like I'll need to see you in so-and-so amount of weeks. And this is our treatment plan.
Yeah.
And I called the girls like we're glow therapists.
Cute. I love that.
So it's like your little,
we're on
a journey together.
Yeah. I think that's a start. I think that's very much a start. But there's also what we know is maintenance. Skin is always aging. Yeah. Right? And so for example, we have a lifetime patient retention. I just pulled it of 80%.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So that's huge. Right? And so how does that happen? And it's not just talking about that initial treatment plan to fix the melasma, to fix the post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, to fix the acne, or to fix glycation in the skin, or whatever those things might be, right? We're going to come up with a plan to get you to a baseline that we're both comfortable with, Okay. We're going to maintain this because just like you need water to survive as a human being, right? Your skin needs certain things to be just from a maintenance perspective.
Yeah.
Right? And then every year to every couple of years, because what we do is a little bit more invasive, right? Because we are medical, whether that's annually, biannually, whatever the case might be, we may need to redo treatment to give you that boost of collagen, elastin. If you're somebody like melasma, we know melasma is a forever thing, and we're just doing our best to kind of keep it at bay. But there could be flare-ups over summer. So fall's our time to really, break down that pigmentation and get you back to baseline.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just setting an expectation of here's our initial plan, and this is what maintenance could look like. But just know that our skin is a journey. It's not a destination.
Yeah.
And we're going to find ways that we want to empower you to know your skin and to know what triggers it and to identify what works for you and what doesn't, because we want you to feel more educated leaving than when you walked through these doors.
Yeah.
And I really believe that that's what makes one of the reasons what makes Tiev so successful is we're really honest. We're not going to sugarcoat, and we're going to give you options. If this doesn't work for you, that's okay.
Yeah.
We just want to give you information so you can make the most informed decision, and people appreciate that honesty and that transparency.
Yeah, I feel like you're like prepping them and you're changing their mindset, because I think we live in like a world where we all are like, okay, I used to be like this, where I'm going to heal my acne. And then it's like, there's not one final destination. Like, I can heal my acne for the time being, but if life happens and I'm not doing the right things, or, hormones, whatever,
you have a
then
baby,
I just get acne.
Something. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so maintenance is very important. And I think that, like you said it, I thought it before you said it, expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's just the narrative. Expectations with your team, expectations with your business, expectations with yourself. And something that I'd actually love to add to that is something, and I'm going to call out the industry.
Call it out.
Call it out. Why are we such haters on our allied health professionals? Right? Esties hate on derms hate on Esties. The med spa industry hates on plastic surgery hates on med spa.
It's crazy, because I literally was going to go into this conversation.
Girl, there's nothing that tickles my fancy more. So why are we're such haters? There's a place for it all. And one of the things that makes Tiev so successful is we use our allied network. We refer out to OBGYNs for hormone testing. We refer out to plastic surgeons. We refer out to dermatologists. I mean, we send them back to their PCP to get, if there's maybe an indication of possibly like an underlying autoimmune disease, like something's a little funky.
Yeah.
I think this is more than just skin, So you have to know your lane. You have to know what you're good at and what you can do and how do you use your network. Because guess what? You want to know what else is the reason why we have such good retention? Is we're honest as to I'm willing to forego a transaction for the betterment of the patient. Our entire practice is. So if a patient comes in and, flared up acne, something's going on, we're going to work alongside their derm who's going to diagnose and treat. We might send them off to, we have somebody that's a hormone specialist that's within our network that we refer out to that will help identify if there's any imbalances. Because guess what? If we're able to use them and then the patient's coming in for in-office treatment and we can really target the different areas that are needed for that patient, what did that just do for the patient? Undenying trust.
Yeah.
We're putting them at the forefront of their treatment plan. What is best for them? And so whenever we provide a recommendation, again, the recommendation actually might not be Tiev.
Yeah.
It might be someone else. There's a process of how we can support you in conjunction with that and create a synergistic relationship. And so, we've got beautiful relationships in the area with our allied health kind of professionals. There's no necessarily affiliation. It's just like they're really great people in the area and we recommend them.
Yeah. I think it's because you guys are thinking of your client always first.
Always.
Absolutely.
That is the most important thing in the room always is what we say is the patient. The patient is the most important thing in the room. Above anyone else's pride, ego, or agendas. We say it's their definition of beauty, their definition of what's important to them, right? And we're just a tool to get there.
Yeah.
And so we've got the KPIs to back it up. I know at this point, it sounds funny, but I don't even think about the sales from a transaction perspective. Because for me, if we're doing a really great experience, we're giving them a killer result that's safe and efficacious, the money will come.
Yeah, they'll come back.
The money will come.
They trust you. About it. I think if you gain a client's trust, that's everything. I think that is like the key to retention.
And to deliver on it. Yeah, you gotta be very reliable, you know.
That's how you keep the trust.
And honest. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I was going to go into that, but a different aspect of it, because so my mom's a nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
And now in a month, we're going to like finally join together.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm always like, Mom, listen to Ashlyn's podcast. Like, you have to listen to it. But I noticed that sometimes some injectors, they don't know much about the skin, and then like vice versa and stuff like that. So like in your med spa, how do you guys make sure you're just like all well, you know, I guess it's a knowledge thing.
Yeah.
But do you see that gap, and then how do you guys like kind of merge the two?
Yeah. Well, there's a total gap in the industry. Again, like everybody's a hater on all the different respective areas, right? So for Tiev, we go, how do we work together? How, you know, the esthetician really understands that epidermal layer, right? They really understand it. The nurse, you know, of course they understand the epidermal layer, but they're really working into like that SMAS and that dermal layer. And so the way that we look at Tiev is we're really treating all layers of tissue, and there's different people and providers within the space that are helping target that. Because if I'm just working the epidermal layer, I'm not going to get firming and lifting and a much more anti-aging approach, right? I got to get down into that dermal tissue. Or if I want true deep tightening and lifting, you know, I'm going to look more into that SMAS. And so to answer your question is really understanding, again, your anatomy and your histology. And that's where training and education comes in. Last year alone, Tiev did 29 continued educations. It was over 2 a month that our team did. And we're really keen on education, and that every single person that's a provider is really well versed into what it is that they're doing, understanding the skin anatomy, skin histology, how everything is functioning and how it supports, and understanding the technology and the services that we provide that can help them get there, and where is that limitation and where do we need to refer out.
Are you ever like interested in like franchising?
No.
Like in other places, or you think you're going to stay in California?
Oh, well, so franchise.
I feel like you would do so well in Miami.
Yeah. So franchise, no, but internal expansion, yes.
Okay.
So we wouldn't want other people to run the Tiev way. We'll keep that in-house. But yes, our plan is to go hop states, and our Super Bowl goal is to expand. We believe what we do is really important. Our patient testimonials are the proof in the pudding. We have a lot of what's funny is we've never paid for a brand collaboration or an influencer. It's all organic. And so people come in and they just share their experiences. And so our goal is to expand. Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited. I kind of want to like do another podcast once. Maybe like 6 months after you open or something. Because I think it's so beautiful to just see your journey.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's not just me. I mean, I have to shout out my team. My business partner is fabulous. We do this together. We have an incredible working relationship. You know, our spouses are so supportive. And then we've got a bitchin' team. I mean, we really like creme de la creme of team that we have, and we know we can't do it alone. We go farther together. We all have the same goal. We all have the same purpose and vision as to what this looks like. And so we really have done a good job of curating a great team. So I got to give my team a shout out.
I love it. You guys are all so inspiring.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But where can our listeners find you?
Yeah, so go to Tiev Med Spa. That's at TIEV Med Spa on all of our socials. That's going to be Instagram and TikTok. And you can also find me on socials. That's at Ashlyn Freitas. And I just recently went on TikTok, so you might see me on TikTok.
TikTok is awesome. I didn't like it for a year, but I just started posting on it, and it's actually for the podcast too. It's doing really well.
Yeah, that's what everyone tells me. They're like, Ashlyn, you need to be on TikTok. And I'm like, okay, fine.
You can get really fast growth on TikTok. I don't know what it is. They like put your videos out there more.
Yeah. Well, you guys can find me there.
Perfect. Yeah. Alrighty. Bye, Esty.